So basically what I wanted to do was show you what I have established already. Keep in mind, Purdue OWL APA style format is what my university recommends us using for the annotated bibliography, so I'm sticking to that structure. When you write an annotated bibliography, not only are you going to cite your source, you're also going to give a little background of the source, critique it, and write about a half a page to a full page of the strengths and weaknesses of the actual literature review that you have done. So some of the articles and information that I found have a lot of information, and some are simple information pieces that don't really have any research. It's just kind of opinions. So I wanted to show you a couple different examples. One of the key things to remember when you're writing your annotated bibliography is that you should, no matter how you find your information, when you're organizing it, you want to make it alphabetically according to the author's last name. A lot of these have multiple authors, so use the first author that's listed, use that author's last name, and then cite that in alphabetical order by the last name of the authors. And just to give you an idea of what some of my requirements were, we had to do a total of 10 annotated bibliography reviews. And they all had to be scholarly sources in APA style, a brief summary, identification of the source, a brief description of the findings if applicable, and then a critique. So based on all of that, I will give you an example. I printed out, I don't know if you can see this, this is the cover sheet. There is a template from my university. Anything on my paper that you see in red is just pretty much the instructions. Anything in black is what I wrote. At the end, I'm going to go back and delete all the red. I just like to keep in that organized way so that I know exactly what my task is asking me to do. And for example, my first annotated bibliography is listed right here. So here is, I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is going to be my first, and then this is the actual APA style, and then the first bullet point, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first bullet point, according to what the course is asking me to do, is identify a brief summary of the source. So in this case, it just says the source is a publication, when the publication began, how long the publication has been in print, the current status, in this case it's still being published today, and pretty much a background of what the journal offers. So, for example, this was called Communications Disorders Quarterly, and for this particular publication, it was established in 1976 and it continues today. So the journal generally offers assessments of and intercessions for communication disorders. There are reports, tutorials, media reviews relevant to communication disorders. Then I also discussed the sources such as the authors. In this case, the authors of the article I found, which is published in that periodical, was written by a professor from Georgia State University and another co-author of it who is a high school teacher in the Atlanta area school for the deaf. So that gives you an example of the source that I cited. Number 2 on my list was a brief summary of the source. So the type of source is a journal article that has been peer-reviewed and includes exam questions, tables, and charts, and research. It's pretty simple. You don't want to overthink it. Just make it clear and concise. Finally, a third point that they wanted was the description of the findings. So in this case, there was research done in that article, and in this I wrote, the findings of this research support the theory that visual tools enhance the written products of students that are hard of hearing or deaf. Students include more adjectives with their written descriptions than they did prior to the intervention of the use of visual tools. So I wanted to keep it clear, concise, and short. It's not the review of the